Hello. Today we're going to talk a little bit about menus. We last time discussed the header and gave you a couple different options for putting a header up there, and now we're kind of working down the page. So we're now down here at the menu. Now if you're like me, your menu looks pretty weird. It's got all this bizarre content here that was brought in, the test content, and you can roll over and you can get drop-down menus, test drop-down menus, and even flyout menus that are sub-menus of other flyout menus. But in general, just out of the box, the menu works pretty well. Now, you should know where this menu information is located. So if we go back here to the back end of the website, which I will have to do this, click on the dashboard. Over here under Appearance, we have an area called Menus. And here in the menu section, if you're using the test data, it's going to look something like this. All of this menu information is put in here. And then up here, we have a couple of tabs. This is the Edit Menus section where you can edit your actual menus. And then there's something called Manage Locations. Now, Manage Location starts out with the primary menu and then the assigned menu, which would be at the top of the page. So in other words, if you made multiple menus, you could select one of those menus and have it be the primary menu that it shows up at the top of the page. Right now it's just a bit random. So if, for example, we change this to be the navigation menu for the primary menu up there, we can hit Save Changes. Now we can go back to the front end of the website. This is what it used to look like, but if we refresh it, you see that now Home is the first link in there, and it looks a little different. And if we go back to the menu section and we go to Edit Menus, this menu right here that's showing is our navigation menu, and of course Home is the first one there. So this is the one that is being displayed. You can see that the primary menu button is also checked down here. Another area that's checked is automatically add new top level pages to this menu. What that means is every time you go into this page section and add a new one, it's going to automatically show up on your menu here, and then you can just drag it, click on it and drag it to whatever location you want it to appear in the menu, whether you want it to be a main menu item or a sub-menu. Now the other thing I'd like you to notice about this menu, if we go back to the front end of the website, is this is what it looks like when the browser is open to full width, in other words a desktop version. This is what the menu looks like in sort of a tablet version. But notice how the menu changes if we go all the way down to what might be a phone version. Okay, see how the menu has disappeared and we now have a button instead that says Primary Menu? And when you click on that, then the menu appears. So this is sort of like the hamburger that we're used to in Dreamweaver type of design, which is the three lines that are sort of internationally recognized as the image for a pop-up menu. But you can also just have it say the word menu, or in this case primary menu, and that will open and close the menu. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. So right now I'm going to go ahead and drag this back to size here. Now a couple other things I'd like to talk about in regards to the menu section here is, if you ever want to create a new menu, you can come up here to the Create a New Menu button, click on that, and it will allow you to make a brand new menu. I'm not going to go away from the page to do that right now. You can see a list of all the menus that you've created right here. This is a list of all the test data menus, and by selecting any one of them, like let's go to this one called Testing Menu and hit Select. I guess we're going to have to do it this time. And there you see there's the testing menu, right? Okay, so let me go back one step and show you to create a new menu. You can click on that, and then you would give your menu a name. So I'll call this Greg's Menu, and we would just hit Create Menu. And now here's a brand new menu that we don't have any pages added to yet. Well, if you want to add pages to this menu, just go over to this list of pages here. This lists all your pages. You can click on any page you want and click Add to Menu, and it will bring it over here to the right side. We can add as many pages as we want. We can reorder them by grabbing the pages and moving them on top of each other like this, and when we're all done, we can hit Save Menu, and then this will be yet another menu that appears in our list of menus, which we can put anywhere we would like on the site. Now, it doesn't display all the pages in this first most recent tab here. It just displays the most recent, but you can see all the pages on your site here, or you can even search for specific pages via this search box here. So in addition, this is how you make what are called top level menu items, which are the ones that show up just at the top here. But if you want to make a sub menu item, you could simply add a page to your menu here, and you simply grab that and drag it over so it's indented, and now it says sub item, which means this is going to come up underneath this when you display the menu. You roll over this is going to be a pop-up item. If you wanted to do a sub menu, you would simply indent it underneath the sub menu. So now there's this menu and then that menu under it. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention about menus is, let's say for some reason that you wanted to have a menu up here, but you didn't want it, a menu item, but you didn't want it to link to a specific page on your website. Let's say for some reason you wanted it to link to something else, like another website. You can make a menu item that is just a link. You could come over here to the left-hand side where it says links and open this up by clicking on that. And you make the link where you want it to go. So we'll say we want it to go to Yahoo. And then we'll say, the link text, in other words, what will appear on the menu, will say Yahoo, but it will go to the Yahoo website. And you click Add to Menu, and sure enough, we get this little menu item which shows up on the menu and then goes to Yahoo. Now you can remember, after you've made your menus, to always hit the Save Menu button on the right-hand side so that it's saved. If you want this particular menu to show up to be your primary menu, you could set it right here, or you could go back into that Manage Locations tab and set it. But let's set it right here to be our primary menu and hit Save Menu. And then let's go out to the website and hit refresh. And now we see that this changes to the blog, the home, and Yahoo. Home has the A sub page, and then A has its own sub page, which is B, and Yahoo, when we click on it, goes to the actual Yahoo website. Okay, let's go back to here, and let's say that we don't want this to be the primary menu anymore. So we'll uncheck that and save that. We'll go back to Manage Locations, and we'll say that we want our primary menu to be the navigation menu. Save that. And now when we go back to the site, it'll start out with home and then red headline. So these are all the different menu items that are the ones that appear on the navigation menu, which is this one right here. And that's how you select a menu to work on. You just select it from this drop-down menu, hit select, and then it shows up, and then you can add pages, links to it, move things around, save them. You can delete pages. You can click on one of these drop-down menus here and just hit remove, and that will remove this page from the menu. Be sure to always hit this blue save menu after you've made any changes. And you can always close these back up if you like. If you don't want pages, brand new pages that you make over here in this pages section, if you don't want them to appear on the menu, you just uncheck this, automatically add new pages to top, automatically add new top level pages to this menu. If you uncheck it, then they won't show up automatically on this menu. We also have categories that can be added to this menu, and these are of course blog categories. If you're not going to do a blog, you don't have to worry about this, but there's some test data in here including all of these categories, which are, there's a million of them, which are all blog categories, and those could be added to a menu, for example, if you were a blogger. The next thing I'd like to talk about is how to style your menu, because right now the menu itself is pretty boring. In order to talk about styling the menu, first we have to see what styles are going to be applied, where the area is that we would apply styles to this menu, and then we're going to have you download some code snippets like you did last week from the website, and cut and paste those into the CSS style sheet to apply specific styles to your menu. So if we go over here to the editor on the left-hand side, and we come over here to header.php and scroll down, you'll see that this area right here with the nav tag is the navigation. It begins there and ends with this end nav tag. It's the site navigation, and we can see right here that the class that is applied to it is called main navigation, right? So that's the CSS style that is the overarching style for everything that has to do with the menu. So as long as we have main navigation at the beginning of our styles, we can apply it to the style sheet for the navigation. Now keep in mind that we're going to start from the outside, which means we're going to start with styles that apply to everything, and then we're going to sort of move inwards. So then we'll have styles that apply to the top level navigation, which would be the first line of text that goes across the top of the page. And then we'll have styles that will apply to the sub navigation, which is the first pop-up menu, and then the sub navigation. So we'll just sort of go through the styles in that fashion. Okay, so now you know where this is. So if we go to the style sheet for the site, which we can come over here and go to style sheet, and we look here up at the top in the table of contents, we see that under navigation we have 5.0 navigation, we have 5.1 links and 5.2 menus. So we're going to be able to go down to that menu section and cut and paste our code snippets into there to add the new styles to our menu. Now when it comes to working on the style sheet, I'm not actually going to work on it here inside WordPress, although I'm able to go down here and make changes and then hit update file. But it's much better to work on the style sheet in Dreamweaver. It just gives you line numbers and a bunch more options, which make it a lot easier to work on. And so I'm going to switch over here to Dreamweaver, where I have the style sheet pulled up already. And now I'm just going to do a search for 5.2. I'm just going to, on the Macintosh, hold down Command F for my find menu. When you copy something, you highlight it and do Command C to copy it, and then do Command F. Whatever you copied automatically comes up in the Finder window here. And you can say find all. It'll find two instances, this one here, which will be the top one, and then the second one will be the actual area where the menus are. And if you double click on that down in the search box here, it will shoot you down the page to that section. And you can see that we're in the menus area, and of course everything starts out with .main navigation, which is the class that we saw was in the header, which is the main class for the navigation menu. Now this is the point where you would want to go to the website, if you haven't done this yet, and download the file which has our I want to go to the Classroom website, which is this one right here. And you'll want to download those code snippets so you can use them. So if we go into 256 and 257, week 10, and you can click here, down here at the bottom of the page, download these code snippets. Click on that and download those and open them up. And you'll see you'll have a file that will look something like this, which it says 5.2 menus, and then it has all these custom styles in here. So what we're going to do is, after you download the code snippets, we're going to have you highlight that top style there, main navigation, and copy it. And then we're going to go back into Dreamweaver here. We're going to highlight our main navigation section here and paste right over it with these new styles. It retains some of the original styles, but also adds a new font in, puts in a background color, and turns everything into uppercase. Okay, so once we have that, we're going to save the style sheet and upload it. We can do all of that by clicking on these two arrows up here at the top of the page and clicking Put. It's going to ask if we want to save it, and we'll say yes. Do we want to include dependent files? We can say no. Okay, so now we go back out to the website, and we take a look, and sure enough, we have a dark background and the new font with uppercase letters, You'll probably have to refresh this to see this on your own. I just did mine, and so it was refreshed already. But now you can see what this looks like. Now, one of the things you'll notice about this menu here is that we have things that are different colors, like purple, which means visited links, and blue, which means active links. We don't really want that right now. What we want is we want to make everything white so it shows up against this dark background. We want to add some padding between the different links so there's space, horizontal space. We want to add some padding on the top and the bottom so there's some vertical space, and these links are in the center. Maybe they're a little bigger. So we'll go ahead and once again we'll use the code snippets to do that. So this time, underneath the main navigation one that we use at the top, there's two more: main navigation unordered list and main navigation list item. We're going to skip those for now because we're not really going to change them. We're going to go down here to this fourth one, main navigation A. A stands for link. So when an item on the navigation is a link, it's going to have this style applied to it. So let's go ahead and copy that one. So I'll do Command C on my Macintosh. We'll go back to Dreamweaver. We'll locate this section right here, main navigation A, which is, once again, here's the one we just changed, main navigation. So you skip the two under that, go to main navigation A, highlight it, and just paste in your new style right on top of it. Go ahead and use the put command to upload that without uploading dependent files. And then go back to your browser, hit refresh. And you can see now that we've added in some different styles. Let's see what those styles are that we added in. Well, we're displaying the block, which is the whole area of the navigation item. We put in some padding. We increased the font size. We took the underline away underneath. We made the line height a little bigger. And we put in a white color. So that is what we've got now, and it's obviously a much nicer presentation than what we had before. Now, the problem that I have with the menu that's currently showing is that it doesn't have any drop downs really to it, so I can't really test out the drop down feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here into my menu section in the dashboard, and I'm going to switch it up so that I'm showing my testing menu by selecting that at the top from the drop down and clicking the select button. That's going to load up my testing menu here in the main window. Then I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on this box here, which will make this the primary menu, and hit Save Menu. Now when I go back to my front page and refresh it, I'm going to have my testing menu, and I'm going to be able to notice that when I roll over this, I've got a problem with the drop-down menus in that I've added style to the main navigation menu, but not to any of the sub-menus yet. So we're going to fix that problem by going back to our text file here, which has all of our styles on it, and we're going to go down to the next item down, which is the main navigation UL, which means an unordered list inside of an unordered list. And what that means is this navigation menu is an unordered list. It's a list of items. And then the drop-down menu is an unordered list that's essentially inside this one because it's inside the tags at the beginning and end tags of the top unordered list. So it's a sub-menu, an unordered list within or nested within another unordered list. So that's how we understand this to be a sub-menu. So we copy that. We go back to Dreamweaver, and we scroll down, and the next item down is the default unordered list for underscores, but we're going to replace that with ours, which has some styles on it, and we're going to upload that. And now we'll hit refresh. Now I just noticed an error in the code on the code snippets where the drop-down menus weren't showing up before, and so I changed the code on the code snippets so the code that you download should work properly. And what should happen is when you roll over this, you should see these drop-down menus appear like this. So that should be working for you now. Okay, now we can start to add some more interesting stuff to this menu. For example, when we roll over the menu items, we might want them to light up so that you know what item we're currently on. And I'm talking now about the menu items up here in this main bar here. So we can do that by once again going back to the code snippets. And this time scrolling down a few from that last style that we were on, and go to the main navigation list item hover. And of course, this is the main navigation, which is that right up there. And when we roll over it, we're going to see it turn gray like you're seeing it turn gray right there. So we're going to copy this code off of our code snippets. We're going to go into Dreamweaver. We're going to go down and we're going to find this down here. Main navigation li : hover, and there are no styles in there currently, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to paste in our styles. We're going to upload this. And we'll go back to the website, hit refresh. And now, not only do we get the drop-down menu, but we get this little gray area highlighting the menu item that we're currently hovered over. And of course, it's the same gray as the drop-down menu, so it sort of connects the two together like that. Okay, now we might want to add this sort of highlight option to the drop-down menu so that when you roll over these items, they get highlighted with a color. So we'll do that by going back to the list of the code snippets. We'll go down 2 styles here to this main navigation UL hover. We'll copy that. And then we'll go back to Dreamweaver. And here it is. This it's 2 down from the one we were just on. Paste that in, upload it. Hit refresh, and now you can see that when we roll over the submenu items, they get a highlight color which is the same color as this main bar color here, so it's adding some continuity to the drop-down menus. The last thing you might want to do is you might want to make it so that whatever page you're on in your website is highlighted. In other words, this highlight sticks around to show you what page you're on in the site. So we'll do that by going back to the code snippets. We'll scroll down to the bottom here and we'll grab the last 3 styles. All this stuff here. Copy that. We're going to go back to Dreamweaver. And we're going to go down to our last couple of styles here, these last ones. And we'll replace these last 3 styles here that have nothing in them with our styles that we got from the code snippets. And then we'll hit refresh. And now you can see, well, you can see a couple things. You can see the highlights appearing on every one of these, but if we go to a page like depth, well, that particular one's not going to work because of the type of menu we're in. So let me go into my menus and let me change back to the navigation menu. Select that and save this. Actually, I have to save this as the primary menu, so I'm going to click the primary menu button and save that. Go back to my site and hit refresh. Okay, so now if I go to the red headline page, oh, page can't be found. So, boy, let's see if there are any of these pages. Here's the Lorem Ipsum page. So now you see when we go to the Lorem Ipsum page, that page is highlighted. It shows, what page you're on. Okay, so that is some of the highlighting and other features that you can do with menus. So go ahead and customize your web pages the way you like. You can start out with these styles that we've added in from the code snippets and customize those to your liking. Now, one more thing we might want to fix finally here is there's a gap, at least on mine, between the header and the menu, this white gap right here. We might want to get rid of that. In order to get rid of that, I'm in Google Chrome right now. I can click on my hamburger menu, go to More Tools, and Developer Tools. I'm sorry, that was a little off the screen there, but in my Developer Tools, I can click on the magnifying glass and I can highlight this section right here. And you can see that this is something called site description, site-description. So we can go into back to Dreamweaver, and you can do Command F and look for site description, find all, double click on that, and it's going to take you to the section of your website where .site description is. And so we can go in there, and what we want to do is we want to get rid of any padding or margin at the bottom of that header to make sure that the menu isn't pushed down. So we're going to set the padding bottom to 0. We're also going to add an exclamation point important and a semicolon so that that overwrites any other styles that are affecting it. And we'll do the same for the margin. So we have both the padding and the margin zeroed out in that site description, which is, the text that's right down there at the bottom of the header there. So this is the site description right here, and it's got some spacing on it that's pushing this whole menu down. So now that we've zeroed those out, we can upload this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh. So we see that snaps back up into place, and if I close the developer tools here, we can see that the menu now goes all the way across the page and is nicely snapped up against the top there. So go ahead and customize your menu to look the way you want it. That's it. That's the end of this video. Enjoy your menu customization.